Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Justin. Thanks for coming by my channel, Cinematic Souls. So I figured I'd add a little commentary to this video since I've been uploading some other videos of me riding the OneWheel, and perhaps this will just help some folks out there that are interested in riding a OneWheel and getting one. And I figured I could offer some perspective since I've had my OneWheel for about a year now. I bought it sometime right after last winter, and I was debating on getting a electric vehicle to commute to work, because I was actually now living in the city where I could ride something to work within like 20 minutes. I didn't have to take a car anymore. So I was kind of shopping around. I was comparing initially with like a scooter. You know, there was a Lime and Bird scooters out there, so I was able to kind of rent them and try them out, and they were really fun. So I think it really opened up my perspective of what some options were out there, and instead of just riding a bike, which I was doing for a while, but it was getting pretty hot, so I was just kind of curious of, you know, what my options were to get to work and not be a sweaty mess. And I was riding scooters, but it was becoming kind of a hassle trying to track one down every morning, so I began shopping around, and I was looking at scooters, electric skateboards, and then a friend actually kind of reminded me about a OneWheel, which I had known about for a while, and I had seen them out in the city before. You know, I've seen some people ride them, but I knew nothing about what they were and how that worked. It was just a crazy looking thing with a wheel and one wheel, and I had no idea how that even, you know, worked. The more I kind of looked into it though, and this is what really caught my attention. So I've actually been snowboarding for quite a while, maybe like 10 years. I started pretty early in middle school and was lucky to kind of go with friends and pick it up from there and continue through college, and then in my 20s going with friends. So I was very interested when I heard about the experience of riding a OneWheel and how it's very similar to snowboarding and carving, and I think that really kind of caught my attention. And at that time, the OneWheel Pint had just come out, well, at least it was getting released. So I put an order in, and I think they were still a few months away from shipping, so no one really had tried a OneWheel Pint yet, except, you know, maybe a couple of YouTube influencers. So I didn't really have much to go off of except, you know, some of those videos and what people experienced through that. And I liked the price point of the OneWheel Pint at the time. I mean, I think it was $900, $950. So it's a lot better than the $1,800 for the OneWheel XR, and I think it's just a better entry level pricing for someone to jump into buying a product that they had never tried before. You know, I think it's one thing if you bought a bike, you know what a bike is like. If you bought a skateboard at that point, you kind of know. A OneWheel is a completely different experience and electric vehicle in itself. So for me, ordering that was definitely a bit of a risk. I think I kind of went back and forth for quite a while, and it was kind of a tough call, because I just really wasn't sure, you know, what the heck is a OneWheel Pint? Is this really a good investment? Am I gonna like this? I think the other factor that I didn't like was that once you opened the box, it was unreturnable. That was just their policy. So I think that was my fear, is that I couldn't even ride it, and then if I didn't like it, I could return it. And I think I went back and forth. I even actually tried to cancel the order, being that it was going to take maybe like 2-3 months to actually come. So I tried to cancel it. No luck. They actually still sent it to me. So here I was kind of sitting in my living room staring at this huge box of this, you know, electric OneWheel, and just kind of torn about what to do. I wanted to ride it, but at the same time I was thinking, oh man, like I just spent $950. I actually bought the bundle for $1,200, and I'm like, man, I can't return this once I open it. There's no going back. And I remember sitting there and my girlfriend actually was in the room with me, and I said, hey, I don't know what to do, and you know, this thing was $1,200 with all the accessories, and she was like, oh my god, $1,200? Like, no, like, return that. And I'm just kind of like, you know, feeling defeated, a little bit discouraged, and just like, oh, this was probably a bad idea. Like, who just buys something like this? This is so expensive. But then she actually saw me just sitting there, like, confused and kind of torn. And she said, you know, she was basically like, fuck it, like, you only live once, you might as well, you know, ride this thing. If you want to ride a $1,200 electric vehicle, skateboard, whatever, just ride it, just do it. What do you got to lose at this point? You know, just go for it. And I think that was enough to just push me over. You know, I was like, screw it, you know, if I don't like it, I'll just sell it. There's clearly a big marketplace for used OneWheels. It's just like anything else you buy, you can sell it off. Maybe you lose a little bit from, you know, opening and riding it. Anyways, that turned out to be the best decision I ever made. And I went out that day, I took it to a local park. I practiced for about 30 minutes to an hour, something like that, before I felt pretty comfortable. And I will say, I mean, obviously with my snowboard background, it kind of came a lot more naturally. The one thing that was kind of tricky, I will say, was learning how to stop and dismount. So initially they want you to start with the beginner easy dismount, where you just lean back, and I tried that for a while. For the next couple of days and weeks, that was like my go-to, and I thought it kind of felt unnatural. The drifting back for like a few seconds really threw me off balance, and I just didn't like the way that felt at all. It just felt completely unbalanced and just not how you would really want to get off that one wheel. So I went for a couple of weeks just riding that way with the same stop. Eventually I switched over to the advanced dismount, where you just lift up your front heel, and I'm telling you, it is so much better. It's just way more natural. I think it's just, you know, if you can use that way to dismount sooner and pick that up, I would recommend that. I wouldn't even try to learn the basic beginner way for too long, maybe a couple of days, and then after you kind of get the hang of just being on the board, I would definitely switch over and just start practicing with the one foot heel dismount. Anyways, I love this board. How did it turn out for me? I rode it every day to work and back. It was about 3.5 miles commute one way. I, you know, go through the sidewalks, paths, roads, brick roads, over cracks, bumps, anything you can think of. I pretty much had to ride over, besides like sand. The streets of Baltimore are definitely, you know, a bit more rugged. They're not as smooth. It's not as commuter friendly for, you know, bicycles and whatnot. There's only a few bike lanes, so I kind of found a little bit more of a creative route to go around, but it ultimately was a great decision, because not only did I use it for work, I found it to be just so fun. It's everything they say about it is so true. If you've ever snowboarded and you've experienced what powder is like, it's as close as you can get to that on concrete. I mean, this is not a skateboard. You know, if you rode a skateboard, you kind of know the feeling of what it's like to ride that. This, however, because it's, you know, the design of the one wheel, it really gives you a different experience. I highly recommend it. Even if you've never snowboarded before, this is a great way to experience something that I fell in love with years ago, and it's that carving ability. It's definitely not a speed demon, and of course when you ride the XR, it's pretty fast actually. It goes up to 19 miles per hour, and I think that's more than enough. But even with the Pint at this speed, I love it. I think it's great. I think for anyone interested in something different, in experiencing something really unique, this is the way to go. So hopefully you enjoyed this commentary. I'm gonna kind of drop off here a little bit as we enter into this garage, and just let you kind of check out these cool shots. And I hope that was a little bit informative, and if you have any questions, obviously leave me comments below. But thanks for stopping by, and I'll be posting more, so don't forget to subscribe and like my channel. Have a great day, guys.